28,400 for Bitcoin. It is moving up quite decent. We kind of all expected September to be a red month as the last 6 months, 6 Septembers were red. It doesn't guarantee you anything, of course, but if you look at the statistics then, but then again, this September was a little different. September, however, turned out to be green. So what can we expect for October? Let's get right into that. By the way, big shout out to the people in the Patreon. Sorry for not having my green screen, but otherwise I couldn't wear this freaking amazing hat. So yeah, the expectation was kind of that Bitcoin was going down in September. Well, it actually went up 4%, so not really that crazy, but at least not red, right? Now October has started and it's basically already doing pretty well with Bitcoin at $28,500. I would like to show you my expectation for basically until the halving. Slightly after the halving as well. I want to make this quite of a short video compared to usual. And I want to talk about altcoins a little bit as well. Over the last, 2 months in total, Bitcoin from the wick until where we are right now went up 13.7%. Let's take a look at the altcoin market. How did that perform from the wick, which was far down, of course, until where we are right now? 8%, even though the altcoin market had a huge wick right here, right? So if you take the full bodies, it is basically just up like 3% or so. So how come? Well, it's kind of what we said, right? If Bitcoin goes up, then the Bitcoin dominance goes up as well. So altcoins go down against Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin goes down, well, altcoins usually follow on the dollar pair. So overall, there is not really a good outcome for altcoins yet until Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance stop being correlated, basically. So what I mean is, look, if you look at the Bitcoin dominance right here, it has been going up together with Bitcoin, right? You can see it very clearly if you overlay Bitcoin on this. And let me put in a logarithmic scale to make it a little more clear. Look, every time, here we go. So every time Bitcoin moves, the Bitcoin dominance basically moves the same with it, right? So therefore we said like, yeah, Bitcoin can go up and then altcoins go up on their dollar pair because Bitcoin is going up, but on their Bitcoin pair, they are still going down. And that's probably, if we take a look at the total 3 divided by the Bitcoin market cap, let me first remove Bitcoin right here. You probably see that that's going down. It's going down, and that's kind of the expectation that we had for a long time, right? And this is kind of this line that I've drawn, not time-wise, but direction-wise, is kind of my expectation for altcoins. So altcoin accumulation should be here, right? And if you are like only in USDT or another stable coin, then that doesn't go for you necessarily. But this is for my strategy, what we have been talking about on this channel, right? Like, hey, we dollar cost into Bitcoin because one, almost guaranteed returns at the end of the day, right? 2, it's by far the safest asset out there in the crypto space. You can, of course, choose to dollar cost altcoins, but so far it hasn't worked out, right? Altcoins, they have these pumps and they still go down at the end of the day, right? And some don't survive or whatever, right? Therefore, it's super risky, of course, now to be in altcoins. People might say, look how cheap it is. Yeah, but it can always go cheaper, right? And that's with Bitcoin, you have a little more certainties than that. Therefore, I've been DCAing into Bitcoin, which I'm now making a good profit on, right? And then later, whenever this chart is going down, I can use that Bitcoin to buy altcoins, right? That's my strategy right here. And so far, this is playing out pretty good. This uptrend has been broken, so that's good. If you look at the Bitcoin dominance was in a downtrend, that has been broken, right? So either direction, we're playing it out pretty well right now. Now, why this pump? I don't think there's necessarily a piece of news, but people expect also a green October. And yeah, is that what we can expect? Well, if we take a look, like I said, September usually red. We had 1, 2, 3 green Septembers out of the 13. Which, well, 12. And we now have our 4th green September, right? So the chances that it was green was very low, right? The chance was very low. But like I said, it doesn't mean that it can't happen. Now, if you look at October, and this is kind of where people make then the same mistake, but then the other way around. Like I said, like, hey guys, September, usually red, so big chance that it's red. Well, it turned out to be green, of course. But now people look at October as that's usually the second best month in crypto. Well, not second best, but a very good month in crypto, right? Most of them are green. Now people say like, hey, most of them are green, so probably going to be green. Good, of course, but it could also turn out that this is going to be red, like September did, but then the other way around. So I'm pretty open-minded to it, and I am also really not giving a shit, as everybody is really focused on, is October going to be red? Is October going to be green? September was green. Like, yeah, okay, cool, but I'm not really trading it. I'm dollar costing anyway, and now Bitcoin at 28, I'm gonna buy it here, right? And if it goes to 25 or 24, I'm gonna buy it there. It doesn't really matter because I'm planning to buy until the halving happens, right? And well, this is my thesis for when it comes to the halving. So this is what I've showed many times before, so I'm not going to waste too much time on this. But the red lines are the blue lines are the halving. The red lines is a year before the halving. Not really relevant for this video right now. But if you look at what happens before the halving, we have our bottom. We go up half of the year and we go down half of the year, right? And here as well, we have our bottom. We go up half of the year. We go down half of the year, right? Now, what we see is we have our bottom, we go up half of the year, we go down half of the year. But it doesn't necessarily we have to go down in a straight line. We can go down like up, down, right? This is of course something like that, like a little pump. If I open my Twitter right now, I see everybody being euphoric, and it's fantastic, of course, right? I hope everybody enjoys the green. And if you bought some altcoins which you are now having a profit on, yeah, consider taking some profits, please. Because what it is with the altcoin market, if you look at the altcoin market right here, I can at least tell you, right, that if you do not take profits, then you're going to get washed out. Because at the end of the day, the altcoin market, if you take it over this longer time frame or even over this shorter time frame, it has been putting in lower highs. So every pump that we get so far is getting washed out, right? And I don't see why this little thing over here is going to be any different until it is, right? So, but again, that's a matter of statistics and chances. But you can just say to yourself like, hey, for the last 2 years, it has been going down after every single pump. We now finally have a little pump again. Am I going to be smart enough to finally take some profits off of the table? Right? And maybe you miss out. Maybe this was the last pump. But yeah, that's what you could have thought anywhere. And you, at the end of the day, this pump, any pump was for nothing, basically then. Right? So let it pump a little bit. In my opinion, to really confirm that the downtrend is over, the altcoin market has to make finally a higher high, right? And then it has to go up by at least another 15%, right? Like I said, what we have just seen is a pump of like 5% maybe. It depends from where you take it, right? So we have to see way more than what we see right now in order for me to at least say like, hey guys, the altcoin market is looking bullish again. Because even if it goes up, and I'm not trying to be bearish, but I'm trying to be a little realistic right now, right? Even if it goes up another 5% or so, that's beautiful, but it's still a lower high, right? And we had a high, we had a low high, we had a lower high. If it does that, it's still a lower high, right? And then if it continues making lower highs, yeah, then this is going to get flushed out. So take your profits, please take your profits. So what do I expect for Bitcoin? What I expect is for Bitcoin to still go down until the halving, right? And if it happens this month, November, December, maybe only just in March, right? Like it happened last cycle, right? It happened, and people said, yeah, it was a black swan. But nevertheless, it happened, right? We could get a black swan this time as well, right? Maybe we don't even need a black swan. We don't know. All I know is so far it happened every time, whatever the reason is, right? So you should always consider, well, this time we can also get a reason, right? That's kind of what you want to do. What would invalidate? So, okay, what's my target? I think the bottom is in for Bitcoin. And now we pump a little bit. You see way more people talk about it. Oh, bottom is in, we moon. Like, it's not that insane what we see right now. But if we have so much red, yeah, then these pumps are fine to see, right? And then everybody gets euphoric. But I think the bottom is in. I do think we could see at least lower 20s, at least, okay? Now, again, why? Because so far it happens every time, okay? Very simple. Crypto is cyclical, okay? You can look at macro and this and that. Well, with the coming recession, it's not looking that good. But just purely from a TA perspective, or just looking into the past to look like, hey, not to predict the future, but to say, hey, what's at least likely, right? Then you say, okay, Bitcoin is going to go way lower, right? If you want to bet against the complete cycle so far of the past 14 years, you can do that, but then the odds are against you, right? Doesn't mean you cannot be right about it, but it's an 80-20% chance, maybe, well, basically 0 to 100 so far. So that's my prediction. What would invalidate that for me? Price-wise, there's something, and time-wise, there's something. Because price-wise, I'd say Bitcoin has to go at least go above $32,000. Why? Because then it made a higher high, right? It made a higher high in the second half of the pre-halving year. So far, we here at the top in this pre-halving year, and Bitcoin, yeah, did not take out this high right here, right? And that made it go down. If we look at another chart that goes back further, in 2015, we did see something. We had, well, lows, and we had a high right here, right? And we went all the way down. But after we took this high out, basically Bitcoin never saw that high again. So, or that low again. So therefore, I would say $32,000 also because this is a major, like this whole between 29.5 and, well, 32 is a major resistance area. All right, we had a lot of support here, a lot of support here, a lot of support. We have a lot of resistance here, and we could not. We tried to break it since like March, April, but we couldn't. All right, so also purely from that. So that would be it for me. Also, time-wise, right? Because so far, again, we had the bottom here in January 2015, and we found a double bottom in August 2015, which is, if you take a look at the 4-year cycle, comparable to August 2023. Well, we passed that, but we saw the same thing happen over here in this cycle, where it only happened in March 2020, which will be comparable to March 2024, right? So, and of course, it could still happen in April, but if you look at somewhere in that direction, yeah, then between August 2023 and March 2024, it is still so far very likely to see Bitcoin have its final capitulation together with the altcoin market. So if we are already at the halving, for example, or a month beyond that, and Bitcoin still did not went here, then I'd say, okay, guys, this was it. This was it. Maybe we could look at it like, hey, in June we had the bottom, and in November we made a lower low, and that was our structure that we saw right here, instead of making a higher low, right? I mean, we made a double bottom here. We made a higher low right here. Well, maybe this was a lower low, right? And then the timing is just a little different. Could be that it's a little more early than usual, because basically this was technically the top, right? Price-wise, it wasn't the top, but technically it was. So could be. Therefore, I am willing to say, like, hey guys, I don't know. Of course, I don't know, right? So all I know is we will eventually go way higher than where we are right now. So why not DCA already, right? In Bitcoin at least. Yeah, and like I said, like every time Bitcoin sees a pump, the dominance just pumps with it. And that's to me a big signal that, let me, by the way, check something. Yeah, okay, not interesting. So that's a big signal that altcoins are not done bleeding yet. Because some altcoins might do well, but they don't do as well as Bitcoin right now, overall, right? And the only reason that they do well is because Bitcoin does well. So if Bitcoin is also lower risk, then you might as well be in Bitcoin. Yeah, I want to leave it here. It's quite cool, by the way. The S&P is going down while Bitcoin is going up. So it's nice to see that it's not always that that correlated to it. USDT is getting deployed a little bit. It is now sitting at the 0.382 on the Fibonacci tool. So it might be a level where we bounce and that Bitcoin from here goes down again. It could definitely be the case. I'm very open to everything, and I'm not going to sit here claiming that I know what the direction is going to be. My overall message is like, guys, I'm dollar costing into Bitcoin whenever this chart right here is, you know, not at the bottom exactly, but in its bottom range, right? Then it's time to convert that into altcoins. But before we get there, we still at least have another 40% drop to go. So we're not there yet, and it could easily take like a couple of months, half a year maybe. So yeah, want to leave it there. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, like the video. Check out the Patreon. There's a link down below. Super interesting content. Subscribe if you're new. See you soon. Take care.